Good evening, Corndog Country. This is Jonah Weintraub live with you here from the Friar on a beautiful Tuesday evening in South Charlotte. Hopefully some beautiful baseball up ahead. Your Queen City Corndogs taking on the traveling Kingsmen tonight, coming from York County, South Carolina for this midweek matchup. And all signs point to it being a great one. Corndogs fresh off a 5-4 loss to the Mooresville Spinners, looking to bounce back here in an out-of-conference home duel. And taking the mound for Queen City is none other than number 21, Sam Johnson. We'll meet the rest of the Corndogs and get things started just around the corner, so stay tuned and let's play ball. Well, finally around to the first at-bat of the night, courtesy of the leadoff man for the Kingsmen, number 3, Darian Whitaker. Sam Johnson, as mentioned, taking the mound, the freshman from Marietta College, and he'll throw a ball high on his first toss of the evening. Corndogs enter tonight's contest 11-6 on the seasons, up even 6-6 in conference play. This game obviously won't go towards conference play as that's going to be a second pitch ball from Sam Johnson. But after a tough loss on Saturday to the Spinners, any win is going to be a nice bounce back if the Corndogs can grab their hands on it. Whitaker sees that one go in the left corner for strike number 1, and now the count 2-1. Still in favor of Whitaker, the outfielder from North Greenville College. Lefty leadoff man watches that one go in for strike number 2. Now we've got an even count on our hands with a chance for Sam Johnson to get the first out of the evening. Johnson enters tonight's contest with 12 strikeouts on the year, and that will not make it 13. Sat just outside of the zone, and it'll bring up a full count here. Whitaker versus Johnson. Whitaker 6'2", 180 pounds. Has that one tipped, almost caught in the glove of the catcher Josh Lilly, but we'll just keep the count at full. And one more go at this thing for Whitaker, who is a native of Charlotte, North Carolina, coming back home for a game against the Corndogs, and he propels that one over into the left field woods, so make it a 3-2 count still. Keeping himself alive is Whitaker. Going against Sam Johnson, who's pitching his 8th inning of the season. Some steady work and a great at-bat to lead things off for Darian Whitaker, getting on base via the walk. And starting things off here for the Kingsmen. That'll bring up second baseman number 11, Matthew Gross. Gross from Marvin, North Carolina, not too far away here from the Friar at Charlotte Ladin High School. Matthew Gross attends UNC Asheville with Corndogs teammates Cannon Pierce, who's not in the lineup tonight. In fact, the Corndogs' top 3 hitters statistically all out of the lineup tonight, and the Kingsmen are going to try to take advantage of that for sure. Whitaker taking a lead at first. 0-1 count. And it is chopped over to Quintero at third, and he launches it over, and the double play unable to be made. But Quintero throws to Sander for the first out and gets the lead runner for the first out of this inning. And you might have heard the name Quintero on that call, a new name for the Corndogs, and we'll get all into what Quintero brings to this roster. But coming over from Gaston College, where he just led his Rhinos to the Junior College World Series, got some time off, and now is back for summer ball with the Corndogs, making plays already. And a 1-0 count now for Sam Johnson. Runner on first after the fielder's choice. And number 5, Nick Solorzano up at the plate. Goes to Stony Brook up in New York and watches that one go for a strike for an even 1-1 count now. Solorzano. Switch hitter. Plays in the outfield and is doing so tonight. Watches that one go in for strike number 2, and Sam Johnson now ahead in the count. Johnson, after his last outing, was tied for second on the Corndogs in strikeouts. It's obviously fallen behind as that last start came against Statesville, which was all the way on June 9th. So some extended rest for Johnson, and that one is tipped back by Solorzano. And that'll bring up a 1-2 count here. Gross at first. He's going to go for it, and the throw from Lilly is not in time. St. John couldn't apply the tag, and a stolen base there for Gross. Gives the Kingsmen their first runner in scoring position of the night. Two count still. Solorzano. As that one goes through the legs of Josh Lilly and allows Gross to truck on over to third. So now with 1 out, Gross is on third. And a full count on our hands once again for Sam Johnson. A quick meeting between Johnson and his catcher, Josh Lilly. Meanwhile, the Kingsmen, here in the top of the first, have a good chance to put up their first run of the evening and start things off. As the pitch from Johnson is barreled out into the outfield, but Luke Harris is going to get under it. The throw is not going to get there, and the first run of the evening goes to the Kingsmen. 1-0 on the sacrifice fly. Gross slides home, and the scoring started here with the Kingsmen sending up number 28, Bryce Frederick, the third baseman. Frederick from Phoenix, Maryland, coming all the way down the Atlantic to South Carolina for summer ball. He has no one on and grounds out one straight over to St. John, who flips it to Gullo at first and gets the third out of the inning. That'll send us to the bottom of the first, with the Kingsmen picking up 1 and taking out to a 1-0 lead. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the first inning, excuse me, with the Kingsmen out to a 1-0 lead. Garrett Sander leading things off for the Corndogs here in the half inning. And swinging at the first two pitches he sees, both going foul, and on the bump for the Kingsmen is number 2, Micah Connor. Connor has allowed 5 runs in 4 and 3 innings, as that is going to be a fly ball tracked down in the outfield, and Garrett Sander will pop out on his first at-bat of the afternoon.
Now up to bat, designated hitter out of Williams College,
which sends up Dave Masri, getting the start tonight for the Corndogs. Number 26 was a pinch hitter against Mooresville in that 5-4 loss on Saturday. Went 0 of 1 in the contest, as this pitch from Connor is down Main Street for strike number 1. Masri, the righty, putting up a productive season for the Corndogs with a .353 batting average and 12 hits. Masri played his his high school ball right here at Charlotte Landon High School. Now in an 0-2 hole, as the pitch from Connor is a swing and a miss. That's going to be the 8th strikeout of the season for Micah Connor. He's gotten 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first. That sends up number 42, Dylan Lewis. Batting in the 3-hole tonight is Lewis. Arguably the most productive hitter in the Corndogs lineup that's playing tonight, as both the reigning SCBL Players of the Week that the Corndogs have boasted in Cannon Pierce Cannon Pierce Week 1 and Wilson Lohr Week 2 are both not playing tonight, as well as Tyler Cotto getting a night of rest, the Corndogs' leading hitter and home run hitter. Dylan Lewis was trying to hit a home run there, but comes up with nothing on the chase. Count evens at 1. Lewis on the season has gotten his average all the way up to .317, 13 hits, 13 RBIs, and was one of the few bright spots in that loss. Takes another big hack right there and gets in a 1-2 hole. Lewis went 2 of 4 at Mooresville with a double and multiple RBIs. But in a 1-2 hole here, no one on. The pitch from Connor is in and low, bouncing just above the plate, even in the count at 2, and bringing up another opportunity for Dylan Lewis. 6'3", 220-pound Charlottean. Played his high school ball at Ardrey Kell and fouls that one straight back to keep himself alive. The count steadfast at 2-2. And this battle ensues with Micah Connor loading this one up and getting to strike out his second of the inning, sending the Corndogs down 1-2-3 as we head to the top of the second inning between the Kingsmen and the Corndogs. Welcome back, everyone, to the top of the second inning between the Corndogs and the Kingsmen. Kingsmen out to a 1-0 lead after one. Sam Johnson retakes the bump, and that one is grounded to Miller St. John, but the great diving stop right there, unable to get a stop as Kingsmen put one on to start things off, and we're joined by a special guest up here in the booth. Let's make things happen here with
Patterson.
Will Samuelson, third baseman / DH for the Corndogs. Welcome, Will.
How's it going?
So, obviously, Will not in the game, but we could see him in action later tonight. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But first things first, you're from Charlotte. You went to Charlotte Catholic.
I am, yes, sir.
So what's it kind of like getting that college ball experience, but getting to do it kind of here in your backyard?
It's really cool. I mean, I live like 10 minutes down the road, so it is awesome to kind of, I get off of work at 5 every day, and it's nice to get a little nice drive over and be able to work and play at the same time this summer.
Oh, that one is going foul. Made good contact with it. Looks like number 32 for them is going to be Colin Patterson, but yeah, so you just finished up your year at, is it Tusculum? Tusculum. That's what I thought. I've said, we've gotten it right all season, Tusculum. And had a productive season with the Bats there, entering your junior year, or senior year, sorry, just entering your senior year, as that one is a swing and a miss from Patterson. So, as one of the elder statesmen on this team, what are you kind of looking to provide some of these younger guys getting their first experience at summer ball? Because you've obviously been through this rodeo a few times.
I think the biggest thing is just to help everybody understand the I guess purity of summer ball. I got it explained to me when I was a freshman, and it was a great kind of explanation of how summer ball is kind of the purest you'll ever play baseball. It's just you're out here, you're having fun. There's no we're all trying to sit here and play as best as we can, but we also are not. It's not the stresses you have of college ball in and out every day, and you're playing 56 games. This is a lot more of a laid-back environment where you're trying to get better every game and win some, win. But you're also out here to have fun and have a good time and just meet a bunch of different people from a bunch of different places.
Yeah, for sure. So, kind of going off of that, right? What have you kind of
Now to bat, right fielder, Jack Davis.
Who have you kind of clicked with on the team, maybe among those older guys, that kind of relates to your experience having played 3 years of college ball plus?
Well, one of the dudes, the other older guy is Tyler Cotto, who he's also going to be going into his 5th year, and we kind of we've been through 4 years of college baseball and the summer ball and kind of how that takes, and it's kind of good to have somebody else that you can relate to with that and experience-wise.
Yeah, so obviously another big aspect of summer ball is the improvement, just kind of staying fresh for the college season. So kind of as you head into your senior year at Tusculum, kind of what are your, not expectations, you're coming off a pretty solid year, especially with the bat, a handful of home runs, as that one is grounded to St. John, and the double play is not going to be made. Tough call right there as the score goes 2-0 here in the top of the second. But yeah, kind of you had a super productive year at Tusculum. What are you kind of looking to bring to the Pioneers next year as you're entering your senior year?
So we are losing our 4-hole hitter who led the team in RBIs, and I'm kind of hoping that I can step into the role of being that guy that we needed, driving runs whenever we can. I think I did a pretty good job of it last year, but just kind of helping when I can. And, it's my last year of college baseball, so I'm really hoping to kind of give it my best effort, and go to the point where can leave college baseball on a really high note and be able to, and help our team hopefully win a conference championship and go farther.
Yeah, for sure. Totally get that. So, speaking of conference championships, the Corndogs currently sit 6-6 in the SCBL, but y'all are only 1.5 game back of first place. I mean, I know it's early in the conference season, but in a 6-team conference, I think all of them are within 2 games except for the regulators. So kind of how nice is it to have a game like this one today where the stakes aren't necessarily as high and there's more margin for error, or just, to chill out a little bit after a big game on Saturday that just didn't go your way?
I think it'll be good today to kind of, lay off the brakes a little bit and everyone's staying in form, but we're not, sitting and having a super intense game. I think we had a couple tough weeks, and also last week, all the rainouts and stuff like that. It's been hard to kind of keep shape, and as we get into the second half of the year, it'll be good to have a game to kind of relax, refocus, and get back into the groove.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of rainouts, geez, like, I mean, I guess I'm from Charlotte too, just down the street, and I always say, oh God, the summers here are all rain. Is this what? But I mean, that was something I've never seen. Is that one gets the out to Gello, and is that the third out?
Second out.
Okay, they have 2 out on the board, so someone must have thought the double play was made, but no, that's a little grounder right over there, getting the second out of the inning, and it looks like Coach Fluta is gonna meet with Sam Johnson on the bump, so that's kind of a great time to get our last point in before we head to the little break. So, what's kind of your goal for the rest of the SCBL season, I guess, individually speaking?
I mean, I started out a little rough here. It's been hard to kind of get into a groove, and I'm hoping just to get into a groove and then, figure out some stuff before going into the school year, and hopefully we can win a championship.
Well, let's hope. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Will.
No problem. It was nice talking.
It's been a pleasure, and we'll be right back for the rest of the top of the second inning. Once again, thank you to Will Samuelson for stopping by. We'll see him in action a little bit later, as the Corndogs haven't stopped the action, and really haven't the Kingsmen either, as they've made some good contact off of Sam Johnson here in both innings of work, but a chance to escape with only 1 run seeded. And that is going to be a swing and a miss. Count evens up at 2 apiece. At bat is number 7, Ryan Flaherty. He's batting only 111 on the season with 7 strikeouts. But that one has made contact with, just not enough to get there, and Dylan Lewis will track that down for the final out of the inning. Sam Johnson and the Corndogs escape, only giving up 1, but the Kingsmen on top by 2 as we head to the bottom of 2 after this quick break. Bottom of the second inning, Corndogs in a 0-2 hole here against Kingsmen. plenty of time to come back in this one. After a 1-2-3 inning, Luke Harris launches that one, and it is going to be caught at the track. What a play right there. Luke Harris robbed of a home run. Can't do anything else but salute to the center fielder for the Kingsmen.
Coming up to plate, extra hitter out of
Fantastic
Blues,
play right there.
Budnick.
Sometimes you have everything, but you just can't get it all. Crazy play right there made. And one down here. Corndogs yet to record their first hit as Budnick steps up to the plate. Luke Harris with his chance to get his first home run of the season, robbed at the wall, and that'll be a 2-0 count now on the lefty Will Budnick. Making the play was Darian Whitaker. Arguably the best play we'll see here tonight, and I feel confident saying that even after only an inning and some change. And a 3-0 count now. Micah Connor has walked 9 batters entering this game. Yet to put one on base via balls yet. But with a 3-0 count, that'll be strike number 1. So, Connor trying to fight his way back. And that will be the first walk and the first base runner of the evening for the Corndogs. Will Budnick heads over to first.
Out of App State University.
And that will bring up Adam Quintero, number 15. And ladies and gentlemen, Adam Quintero finally making his way to the Corndogs and couldn't come at a better time. Walking up to some Mac Miller. Have to respect that. As Quintero, the JUCO Division 10 Player of the Year, and watches that one go over the head of the outfielder, the Region 10 Player of the Year at Gaston College. Gets a hit in his first pitch seen of the season, and it's a double. Didn't even get time to go over Quintero's resume. Absolutely rocketed that ball into the left field and gets the first hit of the night for the Corndogs. Quintero batted 455 games with the Rhinos at the JUCO level. And after a year there, sophomore year, he transferred originally from William & Mary, made his way to Gaston College, and now is heading to App State after taking the JUCO route. A future Mountaineer. Could have hit that one over a mountain. The first hit of the evening for the Corndogs. From what could be the missing piece for this team, with Peter Gullo up to the mound. The plate, excuse me. The pitch from Connor is just inside for ball number 1. Peter Gullo starting at first base tonight, batting in the 6 hole. The 7 hole. Counting's easy. The 1-0 pitch with runners on second and third. Goes right by the belt buckle of Gullo, and it brings the count to 2-0. Peter Gullo enters tonight's contest, batting 182 with 2 hits and 4 RBIs. Can add at least 1 RBI here if he's able to make contact with the ball well enough. But instead, he opts to watch that one go down for strike number 1. Connor, with 1 out, runners on second and third, aiming to make a great escape from this bottom of the second inning. Went 1-2-3 in the first, but the middle of the order for the Corndogs has given him a bit more trouble here. Kingsmen protecting a 2-run lead, and that one is whiffed on by Gullo. Evens the count at deuces. And some good resilience shown here by Connor. Can shut down Gullo. 2-2 pitch upcoming. With that one, bringing a full count to our hands, just outside and high. Gullo with good restraint in the box right there. The righty from Anderson University, who went 0 of 1 at Mooresville. Takes the full count and crushes that one into left center field, and it is over the head of the outfielder. Once again, a bad read right there in the left field. And the 5th and 6th RBIs of the season for Peter Gullo to even the score at 2 with the RBI double. Quintero and Budnick trot on home, and Peter Gullo gets his best at-bat of the season. The second consecutive double for the Corndogs to level this game at 2.
Coming up to bat, center fielder out of Lander University, Caleb Singleton.
That'll send up Caleb Singleton with Gullo on second, 1 out. And all of a sudden, the Corndogs have taken control here. And looks like Gullo was thrown out at first. Did Gullo never touch first on his route, or it looks like it looks like it's the case. So a lot of confusion from both sides as Gullo makes his way back to the dugout. But if we're looking for silver linings, he tied this game up at 2, so you can't be too ticked off if you're anyone involved on the Queen City side. But still, an explanation is in order, and it's coming courtesy of the umpire to manager Jeff Pluta. A lack of awareness there by the Corndogs makes it a 2-out inning. And bailing out Micah Connor, who had been reeling, giving up back-to-back doubles. Now with bases empty, and Caleb Singleton, who leads the Corndogs in strikeouts, up at bat, an opportunity to keep this game level. That'll be strike number 1 on Singleton, and for all the trouble he has had with leading the Corndogs in strikeouts, he still is batting a very solid 267 with 12 hits and 9 RBIs. He's also gone yard once this year and watches that one go high. The Greenwood, South Carolina native plays his college ball at Lander University and has been a mainstay in the Corndogs lineup, especially due to the speed he brings on the base path and in the outfield, where he's played at center almost exclusively for Jeff Pluta. That one caroms into the lap of the catcher for the Kingsmen, and Micah Connor with a 2-1 count after giving up his 6th and 7th runs of the season, entered tonight's contest with a 10.4 ERA. And that one is launched into the left field, and it is fair but not tracked down. Caleb Singleton gets it to drop and will make it into second. So 3 consecutive doubles here for Queen City. And even though Peter Gullo wasn't able to really get there, he was, in spirit, replaced by Caleb Singleton, which sends up Josh Lilly here, number 35, starting behind the plate at the catcher tonight for Queen City. Trying to keep this run going. Lilly, number 35, batting 200 on the season. As that one is high and away for ball number 1. The Corndogs only got 2 extra base hits their entire game against Mooresville and have put up 3 consecutive ones here in the bottom of the second inning. And now a 2-0 count for Lilly with a runner on second, Singleton. Always a threat to steal the bag. Singleton with 7 stolen bases on the season, which is good for third on the Corndogs roster. Taking a big lead here. And that one is catapulted into the outfield and tracked down there by number 23. That's Jack Davis getting under that one and bringing us to the top of the third with the Corndogs tying this thing up at 2. Top of the third inning here between the Corndogs and the Kingsmen, all even at 2 apiece. And Jack Austin, catcher number 17 for the Kingsmen, up to the plate. Austin, the USC upstate product, takes a strike there. 0-1 count from Sam Johnson. And a swing and a miss right there. A quick 0-2 hole for Austin, who enters this game batting 143 on the season. 7 strikeouts so far on his campaign. Johnson aiming to make it 8. So 1-2 count. And that is going to be strike number 3. Strikeout number 3 for Sam Johnson, who had some rough stretches earlier in this game, but looks to have settled in a bit as the top of the order comes back up for the Kingsmen. Starting off with Darian Whitaker. And another looking strike. Sam Johnson really painting the corners tonight. And that is going to be a 1-1 count. Make it 2-1 now on that pitch to Whitaker, the leadoff man, who made that dazzling play in the outfield to rob Luke Harris of a home run, scaling the wall. Whitaker batting .208 on the year with 5 hits in 24 at-bats. No runners on, 1 out for the Kingsmen, who have put up 1 run in each frame thus far. The lefty Flings that one out to Quintero, who makes the running throw and gets him out at first. What a play by Quintero. Does more than bat, ladies and gentlemen. The late addition bringing some early defense here in the top of the third, which sends up Matthew Gross, number 11, for his second at-bat of the night. And that pitch from Johnson is going to be a ball inside. 1-0 count now for Gross, who's a 125 batter on the year, playing in his 5th game tonight, and fouls that one back to even the count at 1. Sam Johnson, coming off a game in which he went 4 innings versus Statesville with 3 runs allowed, struck out 7 batters. That was game 1 of a doubleheader versus Statesville. And that is going to be a ball 2. Count now at 2-1 in favor of Gross. Gross, the utility man for this Kingsman squad, listed as a third baseman, second baseman, right-hand pitcher. Gets it done all over the field, does the 5'10 righty. But with a 2-2 count, that one is going to be a ball. Checked right there, did Gross. Able to hold back and bring up a full count. Gross got on base the first time he was up at bat. Looking to keep that OBP for the night at a perfect score. And that pitch is grounded over to Quintero, who makes the simple play and, oh, not simple play, Quintero. Quintero was trying to be a little fancy there, trying to be a little showboaty, and ended up throwing it a little out of the reach of Peter Gullo. So the Kingsman dugout going wild right there. Bulletin board material, and Nick Solizerno. The lefty rips that one, and it's going to go fair. And just when the Corndogs thought that they were out of this thing, it looks like Gross is rounding third, going to try to gun it home, and he will. So karma comes back to bite the Corndogs. The Kingsmen get out to a 3-2 lead. The error from Quintero set that one up, and Sam Johnson, unfortunately, the bearer of that earned run with the double for Gross, and Bryce Frederick stepping up to the bag, number 28. He's played 8 games so far for the Kingsmen, a .292 batter. Tied for second on the team in RBIs with 6 of them, and a great chance to bring in 7, though. Sam Johnson trying to close the door here on the Kingsmen after the Corndogs appear to have thought that they did earlier, but that one is fouled back to even the count at 1. Two out still. Solizerno on second. Frederick at the plate. The righty sees this one and doesn't see it because he swings and misses on that one. And now just 1 strike away for the Corndogs. Who have allowed 1 run in each inning thus far. Only allow 4.8 runs per game, already have allowed 3 through 3, or hopefully through 3, but that one is just foul to keep the count at 1-2. Frederick with 8 strikeouts on the year. Just third on this Kingsmen roster. Sam Johnson already has a trio of them tonight, as that one is flared up towards the dugout and just over the wall, or the fence, I should say. Peter Gullo unable to track that one, and would have been a really difficult play. He would have had to climb over the wall probably to get that one. So, but we've seen that tonight, haven't we? So, 1-2 count still, 2 outs, runner on second. Sam Johnson surveys, deals, and that'll be a ball. A little timeout here as a ball made its way from the Corndogs dugout all the way back behind home plate. Game reset, 2-2 count, 2 outs, runner on second. 3-2 score in favor of the Kingsmen, and that one is grounded over to Miller St. John, who fumbles it at right next to second, and a second consecutive error. And this was really a tale that ended up repeating itself tonight, but it was reared its ugly head against the Spinners. The Corndogs had 3 errors at Mooresville, and each one of them really seemed to have been crucial timing as well. Some errors that allowed the Spinners to stay alive in innings where they would put up RBIs after, and now with runners on the corners, 2 outs, looks like a bit of deja vu here for Queen City. Sam Johnson trying to make sure we don't get a repeat of that performance as number 31, Blake Bevis, up to the plate. Not the guy you want to see if you're this Corndogs roster. Bevis has a team leading 3 home runs on the year for this Kingsmen squad. The native of Brentwood, Tennessee. Watches that one go low for ball number 2. Speaking of balls, Blake Bevis plays his college seasons at Ball State up in Ohio and has a 2-0 advantage. The 294 batter cranks that one right to the Corndogs dugout, ricochets off the stop, and or the little protective stop right there, and brings the count to 2-1. That's going to be a stolen base right there from Bryce Frederick. Hesitated on it, but Josh Lilly unable to corral it in time. And now 2 runners in scoring position for the leading home run hitter on this squad. Has only played 5 games for the Kingsmen, has Bevis, and yet has half of the team's home runs on the campaign. The righty takes the 3-1 pitch, and it is now a full count after that one sits pretty into the strike zone. Sam Johnson once again on the verge of bringing things to the bottom of the third, looking to finish the job here, as this one is going to load the bases, ball number 4, and a visit to the mound for Johnson with Jeff Pluta, the manager of the Corndogs, seeing enough out of his freshman pitcher, and that will give us a quick timeout before we finish things off here in the top of the third. Now up for the Kingsmen is number 32, Colin Patterson. Patterson, another one of those utility guys, plays first base, outfield, and step on the bump. And a new pitcher in the game for Queen City, Drew Lanzo, who throws a ball on his first toss of the evening. Lanzo, entering his sophomore year after a freshman campaign at UNC Wilmington and being thrown into a difficult situation as that one is going to drop in front of Luke Harris from Patterson and bring in two more for the Kingsmen. Make it a 5-2 contest now.
Now batting right fielder Jack Davis.
Which brings up Jack Davis, the right fielder. Two runners on, and when it rains, it pours for the Corndogs. Had a chance to get out of this inning. An errant throw from Adam Quintero. It really could have been made, barring some showmanship. Ends up resulting in the inning that never ends right now for Queen City. As that one goes outside the glove of Lilly, both runners will advance. Two in scoring position now with Patterson on second. Bevis on third. Number 23, Jack Davis, in the box. Has a team leading 9 walks on the season. Batting .350 is Davis. The outfielder from Limestone. A teammate of Corndog outfielder Luke Harris. And a 2-0 count now for Lanzo, who is a much more talented pitcher than the stats would suggest this season. But a 3-0 count now for Lanzo. Lanzo last played when he started against the Concord A's almost 2 weeks ago. Gave up 7 runs in 3 innings. And now throws a strike right there to climb back into this count. 3-1. Davis still ahead. Drew Lanzo in for his 10th inning of the season. Has an 11.0 ERA, 7 strikeouts, and a full count on our hands between Davis and Lanzo. Corndogs desperately need this one right here. Aiming to stop the bleeding a bit. Putting their faith in the left arm of Drew Lanzo. He winds this one up, and it is grounded over to Quintero at third. Makes the throw this time and ends the top of the third without damage done. However, the Kingsmen put up 3 more and extend the lead to 5 after the Corndogs tied it up. So the Corndogs will have another chance to tie it up here in the bottom of the third after this quick break.
Miller St. John.
We're back here for the bottom of the third inning. Thank y'all for joining us on this beautiful evening. Happy to be bringing you tonight's game. But the Corndogs can't be happy about that last half inning. Now in a 3-run hole after a disaster ensued on the top of the third. Kingsmen up 5-2. Miller St. John with an 0-1 count. And he lines that one into left center, and it'll drop for a leadoff single. St. John, who is bringing his talents to Lenore Ryan after a great season at Gaston College. It's a single.
Second baseman, Garrett Sanner.
Coming off a game in which he went 1 of 3 at Mooresville, recording his 3rd hit of the year. And that sends up number 2, Garrett Sanner, who popped out to lead things off in the bottom of the first inning. And that one goes by the shins of Sanner for a 1-0 count. Micah Connor still on the bump for the Kingsmen. St. John taking a lead at first and retreating back after that ball, so a 2-0 count. St. John is going to go, but Connor is going to get a swing out of Sanner. Might have been a lucky chance that St. John sent for second on that one, because a double play would have been likely had he not had that little bit of a lead. So Sanner grounds out.
Now batting, designated hitter.
And Dave Masri, who struck out to start things off, makes his way to the plate. Masri with the 5th best average on the Corndogs. And there's a big drop-off after Masri. So he's in that clear tier 1 of contact hitters that Queen City boasts. And with 1 out, he has St. John on second. Looking to get his 6th RBI, 7th of the season. The Williams F sees that one go outside for ball number 1. Micah Connor has been in some vulnerable positions tonight, but really have to commend him on bending but not breaking on the bump. Connor from Presbyterian College sees that one from Masri drop down right over the head of the second baseman. Now runners on the corners after back-to-back singles, or should I say a single sandwich with a Sanner ground out in the middle. And Dylan Lewis now heads to the bag.
Now batting, right fielder,
Tying run
Dylan Lewis.
being represented in the big right-handed batter from Queens University. Went 0 of 1 in his last at-bat, struck out. But Lewis, with 13 RBIs on the season, good for 3rd on the Corndogs, and he has a runner in St. John at 3rd. Masri at first, and that one is a moon ball into the center field. St. John is going to tag and go, and that throw is not going to be there, so the Corndogs get within 2 on the sacrifice fly from Dylan Lewis. And that'll send up Luke Harris, who almost had a home run his last time out before Darian Whitaker robbed him of one at the center field wall. Luke Harris, technically 0 of 1 on the night, though. About as good of an 0 of 1 as you can be, as he takes strike 1 from Micah Connor. Connor, who is a native of Columbia, South Carolina, home of the University of South Carolina, what it's best known for, as Masri gets back to first. Luke Harris on the year, batting .250, 5 hits, went 0 of 3 at Mooresville, and doesn't go on that one, so count now at 1-1 for Harris, 2 outs, Masri at first. Micah Connor trying to escape the inning. Once again, attempting to pick off Masri, but to no avail as the sophomore Corndog makes his way to first. And his count stuck in the mud at 1-1 right now. Luke Harris. With Masri stealing, that's going to be a strike, and it might not even matter as that is a tag applied, and Masri is going to be ruled out at second. So that brings us to the 4th inning with the Kingsmen out to a 5-3 lead.
Aiden Rice.
Welcome back here for the top of the 4th inning between the Kingsmen and the Corndogs. Away team out to a 5-3 lead, and Aiden Rice up at the plate. The leading hitter for this Kingsmen roster, batting .306 with 11 hits on the season. Also leads the Kingsmen in runs with 10 of them, and he's going to try to lay a bunt right here, but pulls back at the last second. Count now at 2-1. Drew Lanzo in his first full inning of work, looking to find his stuff here. He's had a rough start to the summer season, but surely has the ability to turn that around, and looked like it on that pitch right there. The lefty evens the count up at 2. Lanzo currently in the transfer portal after a freshman year at UNC Wilmington. Went to the Seahawks after an accomplished career at Hickory Grove High School. And 3-2 full count after that one just goes outside of the zone. And that one is going to be not caught. Luke Harris overshot it. And now it looks like Rice may be going for 3. He's going to try to get there. And Quintero applies the tag, amending for that error earlier. And a great play right there from the App State product to glove it and apply the tag. first out of the inning,
Now batting the shortstop, Ryan.
which sends up number 7, Ryan Fluharty. Fluharty playing in his 7th game of the season. Entered tonight with 2 hits, and that one will just go foul. Corndogs, so far tonight, both teams really have made easy plays look a lot more complicated than they need to be, and both teams have also made some fantastic plays look easy. Kingsmen still benefiting the most, out to a 2-run lead, and Lanzo has an 0-2 advantage against Fluharty, who attends USC Upstate, and that one goes up and down into left center field. Once again, the Corndogs can't close the door on at-bats when having 2 strikes. And now a runner on first. This time gets there without any dramatics,
Jack Austin.
which sends up Jack Austin. Jack Austin, a teammate of Fluharty's at South Carolina Upstate. Looking to keep that connection going and keep this inning going. 1 out for Lanzo to work with. Fluharty at first, taking a decent lead. The lefty has clear vision of him, though, and that pitch is outside to make it a 2-0 count. Lanzo so far has allowed the 2nd most hits on the Corndogs, with the most earned runs of any Queen City player. But really, if you do look at the resume, especially the high school resume, Lanzo is a supremely talented thrower of the ball, and 9 innings is a small sample size. Certainly looked the part on that pitch. The off speed catches Austin looking. 2-1 count. Lanzo catches Fluharty in a pickle. Fluharty trying to escape the inevitable and unable to spin out of that one. The tag applied and base runner be gone, say the Corndogs. So some base running woes here in the top of the 4th for the Kingsmen. 2 outs now. And the Corndogs with a 2-1 count here on Austin. On the verge of getting out of an inning without allowing a run for the first time this evening. Allowed 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd. And that pitch is in there for strike number 2. Lanzo painting the corner right there with that drop ball. The lefty loads this one up, and it is going to bring up a full count just outside of the zone. Lanzo has certainly been flirting with the outside of the strike area, so these are bang-bang calls for the umpire behind home plate. Now a big pitch, 3-2, and it is fouled back, so full count resets itself. Drew Lanzo looking for his 8th strikeout of the season. Austin looking for his 3rd hit of the season. So far, it's been the Kingsmen that have prevailed in this situation. Lanzo trying to turn the tide, and he is unable to do so for the time being. Didn't love that one, and sends Austin over to first base via the walk.
Center fielder, Darian Whitaker.
That brings up Darian Whitaker. Leadoff man for the Kingsmen squad. Batting .208. In 8 games has 5 hits, one of them being a home run. Whitaker, the lefty from North Greenville, has a runner on first, and now a 0-2 count after that pitch from Lanzo. Just scrapes the strike zone. Sun setting here on a beautiful night in South Charlotte. Kingsmen traveling from York, South Carolina to play against the Corndogs tonight, and the Kingsmen have traveled all over the place. We'll get into that later, but they're an independent team that has had some adventures, to say the least. But right now, after some adventures of innings, the Corndogs is trying to get out of this one alive, and they don't. The runner is going to go. Austin caught Josh Lilly off guard and skedaddles his way on over to second as the count levels at dose. Lanzo trying to punch out Whitaker here. Survey second, loads this one in, and it is lofted into the outfield and gloved by Dylan Lewis to end the inning. Corndogs finally get out of one without allowing a run and send us to the bottom of the fourth, with the Kingsmen still on top, 5-3. Corndogs finally get to the bottom of an inning without allowing a run in the top half. Let's see if they're able to capitalize. Luke Harris back up to bat, gets a fresh count and an 0-1 count on the beaming pitch from Micah Connor. He attempted to steal second, got tagged out to end the third. So he gets a extra set right here. And that pitch is low and inside for ball one, even count. Luke Harris, 0 of 1 on the night. And that one is chopped up to the third baseman, and the play is going to be made. Nice throw over there, right by number 28. That's Bryce Frederick, getting the first out of the inning for the Kingsmen. Harris moves to 0-2 on the night.
To bat, extra hitter Will Buck.
And that'll send up Will Budnick, number 55. Got walked earlier tonight. The only batter to be walked so far by Micah Connor, who had a team leading 9 walks to come into this game. And that one thrown like we're playing cricket or something. Lost control and bounces way into the dirt and over the head of the catcher. So a 1-0 count. Thankfully no one on base for Connor. As Budnick gears up for his second set of pitches this evening and lines that one, or grounds it I should say, right back to Connor, who flips it to his first baseman, Blake Bevis. Makes the routine catch, and with that, 2 up, 2 down, sending up Adam Quintero. Quintero really got things started last time for Queen City. Number 15 doubled to start a chain of 3 consecutive doubles that got the Corndogs on the board. Quintero sporting number 15. As mentioned, the Region 10 Junior College Player of the Year at Gaston College. Sees that pitch go high for ball number 1. Originally started his career at William and Mary. Went the JUCO route after 1 year. And now finds himself off to Boone for college ball at App State. Comes up swinging and missing on that one. Count levels at 1. And Quintero in 55 games with the Rhinos earned that JUCO Region 10 Player of the Year with some astounding numbers, hitting 400 in his sophomore campaign, 10 home runs, 64 RBIs, 16 stolen bases. That combination of power, contact, and speed will make you wanted by a lot of places, as it did, as he goes to the Mountaineers and doesn't go on that pitch. So Quintero with the 2-2 count. So far, 1 of 1 with the double in his first game with the Corndogs. Connor likes what his catcher is signaling. Deals this one in and almost hits the dome of Quintero, and that will bring up a full count. Quintero, 6 foot, 180-pounder from Monroe, North Carolina. Attended Piedmont High School. Now back in the old North State. Or I should say staying in the old North State. As the full count is lofted up into the outfield, and that will be a routine play for Darian Whitaker. And send us to the top of the 5th with the Corndogs, unable to chop into this lead. 5-3 in favor of the Kingsmen. top of the 5th inning. Kingsmen maintaining a 5-3 lead over your Queen City Corndogs. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jonah Weintraub. Happy to be bringing you tonight's matchup. It's been a good one so far. Lots of ups and downs for both teams, really, but more so for the Corndogs as they're in a 2-run hole here with a new pitcher on the mound to try to keep this lead at 2. Stepping up on the bump is number 28, Connor Bailey. Bailey, one of the other late additions to this roster for Queen City. Had to wrap up his junior year at Xavier, where the Musketeers had a longer season than some expected, making their way to the regionals of the College World Series. Ended up not being able to make supers as Quintero makes a dazzling play at third. And goodness gracious, what a play made by Adam Quintero. He had that error earlier in the game that was due to a little bit of showmanship and extra taunting, but that one had all talent, no talking. The first out of the inning comes in fantastic fashion. And Connor Bailey, who still hasn't allowed a hit in 5 innings of work on the bump this season, throws that one into Nick Solorzano. For strike number 1, Connor Bailey, comfortable living in the strike zone, throws with a lot of velocity and has a big frame to do it. The 6'4", 205-pounder from Ohio, staying in Charlotte for the summer and bringing that heat for the Corndogs. Count now at 1 apiece after the spectacular play at third by Adam Quintero. Connor Bailey throws that one outside for ball number 2. Enters tonight with 9 strikeouts in 5 innings of work. Super efficient is Bailey. Only allowed 1 run on the season. Has a 1.8 ERA when weighted. As the righty launches that one low for ball number 3. Bailey last made an appearance versus the Regulators over a week ago, just about, last Saturday. Allowed 1 run on a sacrifice. No hits in 1 inning of work against the Regulators, but a walk right there to put a base runner on for the Kingsmen. That's number 5, Nick Solorzano, taking his 7th walk of the year.
Third baseman, Bryce Frederick.
With number 28, Bryce Frederick, up at bat. Bailey walked 2 batters and had 1 strikeout in that contest against the Regulators. Hasn't allowed a hit in over 90 pitches, but that is going to be it. And announcer's jinx right there as the play by Bryce Frederick lines it into left center field and puts 2 on base for this Kingsmen squad. The second you say, the second you try to give a guy some praise, he ends up doing the exact opposite of that. My apologies to you, Connor. For those of you who were with us for the Uwahari game, he joined us here in the, I would say booth, but we're outdoors too. He joined us on the broadcast, and super interesting guy. Great to talk to and great on the mound as well. But now in a bit of a difficult situation here. Only 1 out, 2 runners on, and a play by number 31. That's Blake Bevis, who grounded that one. Foul, count level at 1. Bailey, who, I say this with caution, has a strikeout entering this game, basically 1 out of every 10 pitches. Throws strike number 2 right there, low and inside. Painting the corner is Bailey. Bevis, the best power hitter, hits some power right there and lines that one into left field. Luke Harris has to track it down, and it looks like another run is going to come in for the Kingsmen, and it will. So, and a play behind, unable to be made. So, extra bases there as the Kingsmen extend this run to 3. Number 32, Colin Patterson, steps up to the plate as even one of the most talented and most productive pitchers on the Corndogs is having a night reminiscent of the rest of the team. 1 out, runners on second and third after allowing his second run of the season. Bailey in the jam, throws that one low for ball number 2. Colin Patterson up at bat. Number 32 goes to the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Is from Butler, Pennsylvania, and made his way down here for the summer, as that one is a fastball for strike number 1. Bailey aiming to work his way back into this count and minimize the damage done in this inning. Meanwhile, the Kingsmen on the verge of adding some more to the scoreboard, but that one is going to be strike number 2. Bailey has looked more comfortable throwing with increased velocity rather than trying to throw the off speed. Some of them have hung in there a bit, it seems, as we'll see if he goes back to his bread and butter here. 2-2 count, and Bailey winds this one up, and it is fouled straight back. Patterson stays alive. A duel right now between Patterson and Bailey, who will come out on top, and it is to be determined. Another foul ball. Patterson entered tonight's game being one of the most frequent Kingsmen to see the field. Has played in 9 out of the 10 games for the squad this year. Recorded 7 hits and 26 at-bats, which is good for a 270 average. Has 5 RBIs and a chance to add to that total. And also has 5 walks. 6 walks, actually, and a chance to add to that total as well as the count goes full. Connor Bailey, under about as much adversity as he's gone through in his short time with the Corndogs. How will he respond as he winds it up? And it's grounded over to Peter Gullo at first, who is going to get it back to Bailey, but not without a run scoring for the Kingsmen. 7-3 now in favor of the away team. But the second out is secured. Runner on third. 2 outs, and number 23, Jack Davis, up to the plate. Davis, 6'3" righty from South Carolina, just like many of these players on the Kingsman squad, which is Not surprising, as it's based in South Carolina, the program is. He's from Taylor, South Carolina, and now in an 0-1 hole. Bailey has allowed 2 runs this inning and gets a big swing out of Davis right there. A chance to end things here as Bailey throws that one low and away. 1-2 count now for Jack Davis. Davis leads the Kingsmen in walks on the year, has 9 of them. Among the team leaders in stolen bases is third with 3 of them, and that play is made by Miller St. John. The diving catch just outside of the infield, and it wasn't easy, but the Corndogs get out of this inning, still give up a pair of runs, and the Kingsmen extend their lead to 4. We'll be back for the bottom of the 5th after this quick break. Peter Gullo leading things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Gullo had his best at-bat of the season last time he was at the plate. Battled in the count, got a double out of it. And the Anderson product up for the second time this evening. Sun setting in South Charlotte. Micah Connor throws that one low for ball number 1 to start things off here. Connor went to tonight's game with over a 10 ERA. Allowed 5 runs in 7 innings heading into tonight, but has done a much better job tonight. Through 4 innings, has only allowed 3 runs. Corndogs trying to change that, but Gullo at a 1-1 count after he fouled that one off towards the Corndogs dugout. Connor winds this one up and beams Peter Gullo. That one had to have hurt. Looks like it might have hit him right on the fingers. Gullo taking a second to regain himself here. The wild pitch ends up being a hit by pitch, and Peter Gullo hoping to just walk this one off. That one hit him right on the knuckles. So after some extended deliberation, it looks like, are they saying that that hit the, are they saying that that hit the the bat first. Is that what we're going with here? It looks like that might have hit the bat first, apparently, and then just ricocheted directly to Gullo's fingers, and doesn't really matter anyway. Well, it actually does matter. It would have been a first base if he got the hit, or the hit by pitch, I should say.
Center fielder, Caleb
So,
Singleton.
after a interesting series of events, to say the least, Caleb Singleton steps up to the bag in the 8-hole tonight for the Corndogs. Got a double his last time out, and with 1 out, has no runners on, and he'll lay a bunt. That is foul. Singleton didn't realize it, though, and wheeled his way over to first. That one looked like it might have been fair, but then took a little backwards hop behind the chalk. And it looks like there will be a long time until we see another swing right here. Singleton taking his time, and the Greenwood, South Carolina native working with an 0-1 count, make it 0-2. The Corndogs have only been walked once tonight, and it's a bit of an anomaly from both perspectives. The Corndogs average just over 6 walks per game. Meanwhile, Micah Connor has walked 9 batters in 4 innings of work. So the law of averages flipped on its head as we're watching, and the Corndogs now not able to get the walks, and Micah Connor keeping things in the strike zone. So the 1-2 count doesn't go in the strike zone. Evens things up at 2. Connor trying to record his 4th strikeout of the night. Loads this one into Singleton and way outside. Full count here for Caleb. Went 0 of 3 against Mooresville on Saturday. Had 2 strikeouts in that contest. Lefty strikes out on that pitch and will get the job completed at first. So 2 down for the Kingsmen, with Josh Lilly heading up for his second at-bat of the night. Singleton takes the walk back, and he leads the team in strikeouts, adds to that lead right there. But he did have a double earlier tonight, so very different at-bats for Singleton. And now is up Josh Lilly, who popped out his first time up, and that one is lined to the shortstop. The play is not going to be made. Lilly gets the single right there for his first hit of the night. First pitch that he sees, and now that brings up number 23, Miller St. John.
Miller St. John.
St. John is 1 of 1 on the night, has a single in his first at-bat. Sees that one in for a strike. 0-1 count now on the future Bear at Lenore Rhine, joining teammate Garrett Sanner after playing at Gaston College with teammate Adam Quintero. A lot of connections on both squads, as we tend to see here in both within the team and within the conference, and even in an out-of-conference game, multiple guys on this Kingsman team, teammates of Corndogs at the collegiate level. One of the beauties of summer ball. Your friends become your enemies. at least for the 9 innings. I'm sure everything's chill after that. Well, let's hope for the sake of their college coaches. 2-1 count now. 2 outs. Lilly on first. Micah Connor. And a time, it appears. Someone called a time. And, okay, back to regularly scheduled programming. St. John up 2-1 in the count. Connor loads this one high for ball number 3. Miller St. John started things off a little bit slow, but has picked up his production as of late. Still batting only 125 on the season, but has 3 RBIs. And that one is inside, so he'll get the walk. Josh Lilly was going to send it there anyway. Someone had to tell him 3/4 of the way, 2 seconds, that he didn't even have to run.
Tusculum University, third baseman Will Samuelson.
And that will bring up Will Samuelson, who, for those of you who weren't with us earlier, joined us on the broadcast for a great conversation. The lefty from Tusculum. Seen limited action this season. Was one of the older guys on this team with loads of experience at the college level. Hit 6 home runs for the Pioneers in his last season. And one of the more charismatic guys in the dugout as well for Queen City. Listed as a part-time player for the Corndogs. And stepping into the game for his first at-bat, he's replacing Garrett Sanner as the leadoff man. Samuelson, listed as a DH, but he'll play third base as well from time to time. The big 6', 215-pounder. Native of Charlotte, attended Charlotte Catholic High School. Right down the road, where team owner of the Corndogs, Eddie Hull, was recently promoted to head coach. And so with 2 on, 2 outs, Tusculum, the Tusculum product, Samuelson, who is a big bat, a lot of power. And the first pitch he sees is rocketed, but it is going to go farther up than it goes long, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. A flyout courtesy of Samuelson sends us to the 6th with the Kingsmen preserving their 7-3 advantage. Back here for the 6th inning between the Corndogs and the Kingsmen. Kingsmen still out to a 7-3 lead with Will Hansen on the bump for Queen City. His first pitch is in there for a strike. And Hansen definitely needs to see that. Had a difficult outing against Mooresville. Only pitched 2/3 of an inning on the 1-1 count now. Only pitched 2/3 of an inning versus Mooresville and allowed 1 hit, but it brought in 3 runs with a lot of chaos that is best left unexplained. But now a 1-2 count on the foul ball. Hansen, a younger guy, entering his sophomore year at the Catholic University of America, has seen heavy volume for the Corndogs. Those of you who have tuned in before hear me say this point over and over, but I say it because it's true. Will Hansen gets a lot of run for this Corndog squad. Jeff Pluta taking advantage of the young right arm of the Charlotte native. Going against Aiden Rice right now with the 2-2 count and get the strikeout number 16 on the year for Will Hansen. Big play right there to start things off after the last inning was somewhat of a disaster for the Corndogs on defense. Number 7, Ryan Fluharty, steps up to the plate. Fluharty, one of those USC Upstate guys on this roster for the Kingsmen. All the way from Burden, West Virginia. So staying within the Appalachian region, though we're not in the upstate. Or should I say that we're not in high country. So an 0-1 count on Fluharty. Make it 0-2, and Hansen quickly getting ahead of both of these counts. A good sign for the young guy, for the young pitcher who is really best throwing into the strike zone. And though that's his bread and butter, it comes with its cons. Has allowed a team-high 24 hits this year, which is by far the most on the Corndogs, and has allowed the second most runs on the roster, has Hansen. Yet he also has the second most strikeouts with 16, and has only walked 3 batters. That ratio looking solid and only increasing tonight, but that is going to be a ball. So 1-2 count now on Fluharty, who entered this game just 2 of 18 on the season, 7 strikeouts. Make it 8 after Hansen struts off the mound with some confidence. Back-to-back punch-outs for the young player out of Catholic University of America. Got to emphasize the age over and over again. So many guys on this team are entering their junior seasons, senior seasons, whereas Hansen is one of the few, especially one of the few that's getting consistent run, that's entering his sophomore year, and not as a redshirt either. Class of 2026 at Charlotte Catholic. Now playing in the Queen City for summer ball as well. Throws a first pitch ball. Hansen going up against number 17, Jack Austin, the catcher for the Kingsmen, batting 143 on the year, and fouls that one back. Austin, another guy with a decent amount of strikeouts, 7 on the year. Has that vulnerability at the plate and a good opportunity for Hansen to get a 3rd consecutive punch out, as that's strike number 2. And now Hansen is just 1 pitch away from, frankly, a perfect inning. Jack Austin defending the plate now, sees this pitch, and it is blasted into the outfield and caught by Dylan Lewis. 1, 2, 3 for the Corndogs as we head to the bottom of the 6th with the chance for Queen City to chip into the Kingsmen 7-3 lead. Welcome back, everyone, for the bottom of the 6th inning. Corndogs down 4, attempting to chip into this lead a bit with the new pitcher on the mound for the Kingsmen. And the first pitch pegs Masri in the back. So make it 1 of 2 on the night. That doesn't really affect the count, but Masri gets on base for the second time tonight with the hit by pitch. As Dylan Lewis steps up to the plate. Lewis has struck out and hit a sacrifice fly for one of the 3 runs that the Corndogs have scored tonight. Masri taking a big lead at first as that pitch is towards the head of Lewis. 1-0 count for the new pitcher in the game, Matthew Gross. New pitcher but not new player into the game, making the transition from the infield to the bump. Gross has pitched 4 innings so far this year and is now in a 2-0 hole with 1 runner on. Gross, 6.75 ERA in those 4 innings of work. Batters hitting a respectable .267 off of Gross. Lewis hitting that one right to the second baseman, and he fumbles the ball, and the throw is errant. So both runners are able to get there. No double play, no single play, no play at all. The Corndogs now have 2 on. The single from Dylan Lewis, his first hit of the evening, and that'll send up Luke Harris, who is 0 of 2 on the night, though. His first at bat was almost a home run. Luke Harris, no outs, 2 runners on. 0 of 2 on the night, but had one robbed at the center field wall. And that one is in for strike number 1. Dylan Lewis on first, Dave Masri on second. Luke Harris among the team leaders in on-base percentage, despite only entering the game with 5 hits. Really a testament to the fact that he's seeing the ball really well and saw that one really well, but didn't make enough contact to loft it over the head of the shortstop. Contact made, but not enough, so the first out of the inning. That'll bring up number 55, Will Budnick, who is 0 of 1 on the night. The only batter to get walked on the game, which, as we mentioned, atypical for the Corndogs, who get walked about 6 times a game. Gross has 1 out, 2 runners on. Not in a jam yet, but try not to make anything funny as both runners are going to go on the passed ball. Went through the legs of the catcher, number 17, Jack Austin, unable to squeeze that one, and now 2 in scoring position for Queen City. Will Budnick is tied for the team lead in doubles on the season. Batting .275, 7 RBIs. Definitely wants to pick up a couple more here if he can. The lefty out ahead of the count, 1-0, sees this pitch from Gross, and it is going to be ripped foul opposite side. 1-1 count now for the Queen's University Royal, also a native of Charlotte. An even 1-1 count, 2 runners on, 1 out. Gross throws that one outside. 2-1 now. Gross entered tonight's contest with 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Hasn't recorded either of those so far this inning. as he loads this one up, and it is going to be fair and caught in the outfield, a sliding catch, but it will bring home a runner. Dave Masri gets across home plate to put the Corndogs back on the board and draw them within 3. 7-4, still in favor of the Kingsmen,
Now
but the
batting for
Corndogs making progress.
Adam Quintero.
So the sacrifice fly sends up Adam Quintero, who is 1 of 2 on the night with a double and a pop fly. Quintero, we've gone over his accolades in the broadcast. Looks to have a huge role for the Corndogs going forward, and in his first game has looked the part on both sides of the ball, making some magnificent plays on defense and hitting that double. Even the pop fly made good contact with. So a 1-0 count for Gross, coming in after Micah Connor put together a solid 5 innings of work, holding the Corndogs to only 3, and an opposite field hit that is into the glove of a Kingsman. Leaping catch made right there to end the inning. Corndogs put up 1 in the 6th, but we head to the 7th with the Kingsmen still on top, 7-4. All right. Getting close to crunch time here from the Friar. Corndogs down 7-4. Hoping to hold the Kingsmen within striking distance. As Darian Whitaker, heads up to lead things off, the leadoff batter, coincidentally, with a 1-0 advantage, make it 2-0. Hansen retaking the bump after that really productive 6th inning of work. Corndog manager Jeff Pluta riding with the right arm of Hansen, and a little bit of a rough start here. 3-0 count on Whitaker. Hansen now in his 17th inning on the season. Throws a strike right down Main Street. Whitaker looked like he wasn't even ready for that at bat, or I guess I should say that pitch, but 3-1 count now as Hansen gets strike number 2, and all of a sudden the count has creeped back all the way on Whitaker. It's full and a chance for Hansen to record his 3rd strikeout of the evening, which he is unable to do. Whitaker, after getting up 3-0 in the count, got a quick scare, but makes his way over to first.
Now pitcher Matthew Gross.
That sends up Matthew Gross, who just finished up his work on the mound. Allowed 1 run in the bottom of the 6th inning. Quickly making the turnaround and heading to the batter's box. Has Whitaker at first. Going against the pitcher Hansen, the righty. And that will be strike number 1 right down Central Avenue. Kingsmen out to a 7-4 lead as that one is skied up and caught. Nathan Sammy into the game and making plays here for the Corndogs.
Now batting,
The
left
infield has
fielder,
been
Solorzano.
The infield has been readjusted here for Queen City. You got Samuelson over at third base, Sammy at shortstop, and St. John now transitioning to second base. Gullo still at first. The only guy sticking with where he was originally. As Solorzano comes up to bat, the lefty holds on that one. 0-1-0 count. The implications of this game for the Corndogs, not necessarily lofty, not an SCBL game, but as we've talked to members on the team before and throughout the season, with that one being lined into right field, is it going to bring the runner home? No, they won't. So runners on the corners here. But as we mentioned, even though it's an out-of-conference game, doesn't diminish the importance towards the flow of the season. Corndogs are off Wednesday. Have another out-of-conference game versus the High Point Thomasville Locos. Right back here on Thursday, we'll have coverage of that one. But these out-of-conference games, not only good practice, but good opportunity to keep your guys very sharp. And so far, the Kingsmen have looked more sharp tonight, but that one is going to go fair, and Samuelson bobbles it. No play is made, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. Corndogs once again in a difficult position. That sends up Blake Bevis.
Blake Beavis.
The leading home run hitter for this Kingsman squad. The Kingsmen, every game is an out-of-conference game for them, an independent squad out of York, South Carolina. And Bevis takes that one looking for strike number 1. In fact, so out of conference that they went not only out of state, but out of continental America. The Kingsman squad spent an extended period of time this season up in Alaska, playing against teams in the ABL, the Alaska Baseball League, as that flip over to Sammy is made at second. A run scores for the Kingsmen. 8-4 now with 2 outs. Kingsmen, yeah, they went all the way to the last frontier, able to have that experience. Come back to South Carolina, which some say rivals Alaska in terms of natural beauty. Not me, but some people. And a visit to the mound in store for Will Hansen with manager Jeff Pluta. But yeah, this Kingsman squad also has a program where they send their players to the Dominican Republic for an opportunity to engage with the locals there, engage in a country that is obviously passionate about baseball, and engage in some service and some faith-based activities as well. So truly a unique program that they have over here with the Kingsmen. And putting together a solid performance here in a game against the Corndogs. Their 11th game of the season. Two outs, runners on the corners, and that one is chopped foul. 0-1 count on Colin Patterson. Corndogs don't actually have a conference game because the Locos that we mentioned are on Thursday, not a conference opponent. But SCBL play resumes on Friday against the Copperheads. And that is going to be a strike number 2. As Bevis advances to second. No contest from Josh Lilly behind the plate. As Hanson and the Corndogs just one strike away from bringing this to the bottom of the 7th. That's been easier said than done for the Corndogs in the past few games. Hoping to alleviate their woes, and they are able to do so. Hanson gets his 3rd punch out of the contest and brings us to the bottom of the 7th. Kingsmen put up one more to extend their lead to 4. Peter Gullo leading things off here in the bottom of the 7th for the Corndogs. Time's a ticking here at the Friar. 4-run deficit for Queen City, and not a lot of time to make it up. Gullo fouls that one straight down for a 1-1 count. The pitcher still Matthew Gross, who allowed 1 run in the bottom of the 6th inning, but minimized the damage done. Batters hitting better off against Gross than any other pitcher on the roster for the Kingsmen, but you wouldn't be able to tell based on that last inning. Made decent work of QC, and now Gullo. Once he got hit earlier and it ended up being ruled off of the bat, but that one was a no-doubter. Gullo gets drilled, the second batter to get hit by Matthew Gross.
Now hitting for your Corndogs, center fielder Caleb Singleton.
And that'll send up Caleb Singleton. Singleton, 1 of 2 on the night with a double and a strikeout. Playing against a team from his home state, South Carolina. And that's going to be strike 1. Or was it ruled a ball? It looks like it might have been ruled ball 1. So a 1-0 count on Singleton. Gullo at first. Corndogs have some room to work with in attempt to get a comeback, but not going to be the easiest task. That's in there for strike 1. Even count now for Singleton. The Corndogs haven't attempted to steal a lot of bases tonight. Average 3.5 stolen per game. Did get tagged out on one. as Singleton strikes out right there. It turns out that the first pitch was a strike. So for the second time this evening,
Now up to bat,
Singleton
catcher,
goes
Josh
down.
Lilly.
And so with one out, Josh Lilly, who is one of two in this contest, had a single his last time up. Looking to repeat that and hopefully spark a run here for Queen City. Josh Lilly takes that one into the dirt, and Gullo was able to roll on over to second base. Runner in scoring position for the Dogs is Lilly, who's making his first start tonight since that game at Uwahari. Went 1 of 3 with a double in that contest. Native of Lancaster, South Carolina, attends USC Lancaster, and has a 1-0 lead in this at-bat. Sees that pitch, and it is dribbled right towards the middle. The ball fumbled by the pitcher, Gross unable to handle it, and a fortunate bounce for Lilly as he's able to record his second base hit of the night, with St. John heading up to bat at the bottom of the order for the Corndogs.
Now up to the plate, the second baseman, Miller St. John.
St. John singled his first time up, then got walked. Don't want to jinx him, but has been one of his best games hitting the ball so far in his short stint since joining the Corndogs. And a prime opportunity for the Lenore-Rhine transfer. 2 on, 1 out, and a 1-0 count. Lilly at first, Gullo at second. Gross on the mound. Got out of a similar situation in the 6th inning. And before we could see if he's able to do that again, a quick meeting here between him and his catcher. It's Jack Austin heading to the bump to talk to his infield mate / pitcher, because Gross was playing in the infield before coming out to the mound, and he's protecting an 8-4 lead in a game that the Kingsmen have really had control of for a majority of the contest. The Corndogs tied it up at one point earlier on, but since then they've fallen behind as the Kingsmen have stormed ahead. Miller St. John with the 1-0 count, 2 runners on. Prime opportunity for the Dogs if they happen to want it, or just happen to capitalize, I should say. As that one goes in for strike number 1, an even 1-1 count. And that one is fouled off, and somehow, did that go through the netting? Did that find a spot anyway? St. John now in a 1-2 hole. Gross surveys second, deals this one in, and it is going to be ball 2. No, you can go. I got him. St. John pops this one up into the infield, and the play is made. And is that a double play? Lilly with some risky base running, able to keep things safe. Fortunate for the Dogs.
Now batting,
But the out is recorded.
Samuel.
So the pop fly into the infield records 2 outs now on the board for the Kingsmen with 2 runners on. And Will Samuelson, we saw this exact situation earlier, as we apologize for the camera feed cutting out. We're all good and back here from the Friar with the big lefty, Will Samuelson, up at the plate, and a visit in store. The Kingsmen going to go over some things, and we'll be right back. A change on the bump for the Kingsmen. Number 8, Justin Stewart into the contest. Stewart pitched 10 innings so far this season, 2.5 ERA, among the best of qualified pitchers on this roster. And a 1-0 count now for Samuelson, who was in this exact situation just a couple of innings ago, had 2 runners on, 2 outs, and was inserted as the leadoff man in place of Garrett Sanner, opting for some power. And Corndogs can certainly use some power now, but Samuelson chases that one for strike number 1. Justin Stewart from California University of Pennsylvania, which is in Pennsylvania, not California. And Samuelson lines that one right down the middle. Gullo is going to round third. No, he's not. Bases are loaded as Samuelson gets the single, and that will send up Dave Masri.
Now to bat for the Corndogs, designated hitter, Dave Masri.
Justin Stewart, the Pennsylvania native from Butler, Pennsylvania, inserted into a tall task of a situation right now. Bases loaded, and Masri sees the first pitch go low for a ball. So far on the night, Masri has reached base twice, a single, and got hit with one as well his last time out. The 1-0 pitch is low once again. Count now 2-0. Dave Masri entered tonight with 6 RBIs on the season. And takes a strike looking right there. Low in the zone. Count now at 2-1. Gullo at third. Lilly at second. And Samuelson at first. The pitch is swung and missed on by Masri. A good one from Justin Stewart. And if Stewart's able to close out Masri here, that would be a ginormous win for the Kingsmen. This one's winded up and launched up, but it looks like it's just not enough underneath it as the play is made by Whitaker in center field, and Corndogs leave the bases loaded. A tail that's come back and stung them a few too many times this season as they don't get any runs in the inning and send things to the 8th, still down 8-4. Top of the 8th inning here. Kingsmen have done a solid job protecting their 4-run lead with number 23, Jack Davis, batting first here in the inning. Will Hansen retakes the mound for the Corndogs and throws a ball on his first toss. Jack Davis fouls that one way back and over for strike number 1. Will Hansen has put in some good work with 3 strikeouts on the evening. Has allowed a run, but besides that, a good outing for the Catholic University product. 1-2 count now for Hansen, and another strikeout, 4 on the night. Hansen looking like himself again. Had some rough stretches, especially against the spinners, and now has settled back in. A quartet of strikeouts thus far, with Aiden Rice up to bat. Hansen loads this one in and away for ball number 1, Aiden Rice. It's been semi-quiet tonight, the leading hitter for this Kingsman squad. Is second on the team in average, or should I say third on the team? Yeah, third on the team in average. Leads them in knocks, runs scored. One downside, though, he does lead them in strikeouts, but that one is struck right to the third baseman, and the play is made by Will Samuelson, bouncing back from the error he had earlier in the contest. Just last inning, he fumbled one at third, but that one was a sure thing, and now 2 down quickly with number 7, Ryan Fluharty up to bat. Excuse me, Ryan Fluharty. There we are. Fluharty. Shortstop from South Carolina, playing third base tonight. Fouls that one off. 6'1", 190-pounder from West Virginia. Down 0-1 to Hansen in the count. Make it 1-1 now after that pitch from Hansen. Just grazes the plate. Fluharty entered tonight with 2 hits and 7 strikeouts and went hunting for that third hit right there. Unable to make contact, and now Hansen 1 pitch away from a 1-2-3 inning, and that would be just what the doctor ordered for the Corndogs. We'll see if he can do it. And Hansen was halfway off the mound. In fact, he thought that one was a sure thing. It looks like it may have been, but still 2-2 count in favor of Hansen. Fluharty defending the plate. And once again, Hansen thought that he caught Fluharty looking. Brings us to a full count. Hansen, beside himself with those back-to-back calls, has to regain it, though, and a foul by Fluharty. To stay alive, good at bat so far. Fluharty, the USC Upstate product, in a full count with 2 outs and a foul once again. Fluharty is battling right now as starting pitcher for tonight. Sam Johnson making a great hustle play to get that foul ball. Love to see that effort. Pivotal moment in this one as Will Hansen looking for his 5th strikeout. Gets it! Fluharty checked, but it was no matter because the pitch went straight down into the zone. Will Hansen records his 5th punch-out of the night and sends us to the bottom of the 8th with the Corndogs down 4. 6 outs away for the Kingsmen if they want to win this contest. Justin Stewart retakes the bump, and the first pitch that he throws to Dylan Lewis is popped up into right field, and the play made. So 1 pitch, 1 down for the Kingsmen. And I take back what I said a second ago. 5 outs for the Corndogs if they want to make a run at this.
Now up to bat, shortstop Nathan Sammy.
That'll send up Nathan Sammy, who is pinch hitting tonight for Luke Harris. So obviously his first at-bat. Number 5, the Middlebury product, sees that one go into the dirt. The throw from Justin Stewart brings up a 1-0 pitch. Sammy on the season batting .207. Hit back-to-back home runs prior to Saturday. And that one is fouled back for a 1-1 count now. Sammy, second on the Corndogs in home runs after those back-to-back dingers. Indication that he found his bat after having a handful of moonshots at Middlebury, and that one goes through the wickets of the catcher and brings up a 2-1 count. Nathan Sammy came off a game where he went 0 of 2 against Mooresville, hoping to refine the bat here as that one is popped up and doesn't drop in time. 2 fly balls to the right fielder and 2 down for the Corndogs, with Will Budnick stepping up, hoping to draw the Corndogs within striking distance. Still down 4. A lot of work to do, especially if they get out of this inning. If they go down in this inning 1-2-3. Budnick on the night has been walked, grounded out, and then had a sacrifice fly. And now down 0-1, Justin Stewart, who has only allowed 3 runs in over 11 innings of work, leading the team, second in the team on strikeouts, 15 punch-outs on the year for Stewart, only 2 walks. You can tell by putting Stewart in that this Kingsman team looking to make this one a no-doubt win, and that was a no-doubt swing and miss. Budnick has to defend the plate now. 1-2. Things quickly approaching that scary territory for the Corndogs. No runners on. Stewart loads this one up, and it is low. Budnick even in the count at 2. This Kingsman squad hoping to win on the road, and Budnick lines that one right into the right center gap. A base hit for Will Budnick with 2 strikes, and some good resolve right there. His first hit of the evening. That will send up number 15, Adam Quintero, who is 1 of 3 with a double tonight. Quintero has popped out, lined out, in addition to that double. So making good contact with the ball. Just plays being made all along the field by the Kingsmen. We've seen some great plays made tonight by this squad from York, South Carolina. Darian Whitaker, the center fielder, namely, had the play of the night. He towered up the center field wall and was able to snag away a home run that would have given Luke Harris a big shot here in the early parts of this contest, as that pitch is fouled back by Quintero. 1-1 count now. Adam Quintero put up 64 hits in 55 games with the Gaston College Rhinos. And now up ahead in the count, 2-1. And excuse me, not 64 hits, 64 RBIs, which is far more impressive. So that's that. But Quintero takes a big hack at the 2-1 pitch and ends up coming with nothing. So once again, 2 strikes, 2 balls, and much like Budnick before him, Quintero on the verge, and that is going to be strike number 3. Justin Stewart put it right in the center of the zone, and Quintero goes down looking. So, top of the 9th approaching, Kingsmen holding on to their 8-4 lead. Well, if the Corndogs want a miracle, it starts on this side of the ball. Have to limit the Kingsmen here, already up by 4 runs in the top of the 9th, and the man tasked with doing that is number 6, Aiden Meany. Aiden Meany has pitched 5 2/3 of an inning so far this season, and is now up 2-0 in the count, or should I say down 2-0 in the count, as he is the pitcher. Meany last pitched on Saturday against the Regulators in that 17-7 win, and the off speed goes into the strike zone. 2-1 count now. And in that game against the Regulators, allowed 1 hit in 1 inning in the closing spot, where he's been for a good portion of the season, one of the closers on this squad. 2 strikeouts in that game against the Regulators. By far his best performance on the bump so far this season. And trying to build off of it, has a 2-2 count now against Jack Austin, the catcher. And Meany loads this one in and high for a full count. In fact, Meany entered that game against the Regulators with only 1 strikeout, had 2 of them in that 1 inning. And this one is hammered into the outfield. That's a no-doubter. Home run here from Jack Austin. Aiden Meany allows the dinger, and Austin rounds the bases, putting the Kingsmen up 9-4. That seems to be like it could be the cherry on top for a dominant effort here at the Friar against the Corndogs. Jack Austin taps home, capping off that solo shot. And with a 5-run advantage, top of the order up to bat for the Kingsmen. Darian Whitaker starting things off tonight as the leadoff, making the fantastic play in outfield, robbing the home run, and now back up with the top of the order, down 0-1 in the count. And this one is hit far but foul. So an 0-2 count. Let's see how Meany responds as that one is high. Meany, 6.35 ERA entering tonight. And he gets the strikeout right there, his 4th of the season. A nice bounce back in that at bat after allowing the moonshot from Jack Austin into the left field.
Now batting, second baseman Matthew Gross.
So that sends up second baseman Matthew Gross, who also pitched tonight. And he fouls that one off. So if there's one thing Meany's doing here, it's getting out ahead in the count. Has done that quite well to start this 9th inning. But the home run is the cost that it came at, as the Alabama club baseball player product. Don't really know how the terminology works for club, as that's a high pitch for 2-1. The Crimson Tide pitcher winds this one up and low, so just as we give him credit for getting ahead in the counts, he's down 3-1 now, 1 out, no runners on. Matthew Gross, only batting 125 on the season, and looked like that right there as he went searching for a big swing right there. And actually, it looks like that's not Matthew Gross. It looks like it's number 8, actually, or number 6, should I say. Well, it's yeah, I believe that's Aiden Rice, number 6. Or is that, you know what, along this whole time we had the PA announcer saying the wrong number, then us seeing the wrong number, and then checking the roster, that is actually Justin Stewart, who has been pitching for
left fielder Nick Solarzon,
who's been pitching for the Kingsmen, looking to close them out. And a second consecutive strikeout for Meany. A nice response after giving up what was a whale of a home run. That one is going not going to be found in the forest back here at Ladin. Still, if the Corndogs want any sort of shot at this one, down 5, seen crazier comebacks before. Meany's going to have to keep like he's been going in these last 2 at-bats, and certainly looked like that right there after about as rough of a start as you can have to being placed in this situation. Meany has responded quite well, and that one is grounded over to St. John at second, flips it to Budnick, who's now at first, and though he allowed the home run, Aiden Meany records 2 strikeouts and keeps this thing within somewhat not crazy distance. Still, 5-run lead for the Kingsmen. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Do or die time for the Corndogs. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the 9th inning here from the Friar. Corndogs need to do something magical, as they only have 3 outs left in the contest. And Justin Stewart has looked nothing short of great on the bump for the Kingsmen. And looks like looks like the Kingsmen are having some sort of conversation. So after we come back from a second consecutive break, we'll have the remainder of the bottom of the ninth. Oh, 1 on Peter Gello, who is 1 of 2 on the night with a double. Got hit by a pitch his last time up. And that one drops into the strike zone. 0-2 now on Gello. Justin Stewart, who is 3rd on this Kingsmen squad in terms of innings pitched. 2nd in ERA. Gets a strikeout right there to put Gello away and send up Caleb Singleton with only 2 outs remaining for the Corndogs to pull off the impossible. That was Gello's 2nd strikeout of the night. Singleton, who has 2 strikeouts back-to-back himself, aiming to turn things around. And another strike thrown. It's been strike city over here for Justin Stewart. Not being timid at all with the zone. That one is chopped by Singleton to second base, and the flip is made. Singleton grounds out, and now Josh Lilly up to bat, the catcher for the Corndogs. Last opportunity here. Otherwise, Kingsmen will come into the Friar and hand the Corndogs a home loss.
Catcher, Josh Lilly.
Josh Lilly has singled his last time up and the time before that. Now in the position where anything but a hit closes this game out. And a near strike from Justin Stewart. One count on Lilly. 1-0 count on Lilly. Make it 2-0. This pitch from Stewart is chopped over to second base, and the play is made. That is the final out of the inning, and therefore the game. Corndogs drop 1 to the Kingsmen, 9-4 here at the Friar. Drop to 11-7 on the season. Doesn't affect their conference record, but still never want to lose. And the Kingsmen pick up a nice out-of-conference win here. We'll be back in action on Thursday when the Corndogs are here from the Friar taking on the High Point Thomasville Locos. They'll look to bounce back in that contest and end their back-to-back game losing skid. We'll have coverage of that game live from Charlotte Ladin High School if you're not able to attend. And if you weren't able to attend tonight, thank you for tuning into the cast. We appreciate it and hope that you have a lovely